The Stiffkey Local History Group have really done a most remarkable job in bringing together people with associations with the village, people who've lived in the village, and who wrote most extraordinarily clearly and with great depth about the people and the history of our lovely area.
I have done chapters which cover the early history of the village. 3 chapters to take the story of Stiffkey from the very earliest beginnings, when people first arrived in this area after the Ice Age, the Mesolithic people, and took it right up to about 1600 through the Tudor period.
I covered the Victorian to 1930s period. It was a time when the village was based around agriculture. Most of the work was in the fields, a lot of agricultural labourers, and it was a rather tough life they had in those days. They didn't have any of the machinery they have now. Of course, the other side of that, of course, is that there aren't any jobs now in the fields. So we've got maybe 4 people working on the fields now, and there were about 200 then, so it's changed quite a lot.
My main job has been to coordinate things, but I've also been given 3 titles. I've been responsible for the farming, looking at the farming from 1600 onwards. I've also been given a chapter called Personalities, which paints portraits of different people who've lived in the village who had a particular contribution to make. And my final chapter has been to look at the way forward.
For me, I've written 2 chapters. One is the history of Stiffkey from 1933 to 65, which is when there was a huge amount of changes in the village, going from a very rural agricultural area to the wartime when there was a massive army camp here, and then to the start of the holiday trade. The other chapter I've written is really a history of my husband's family in a lot of ways. It's about the land which was not agricultural to the north, which was the marsh and the sea and the shoreline.
I have collected postcards, photographs and ephemera of Stiffkey ever since I came to live here. So therefore I have a mass of goodies to offer. I checked up on copyrights where necessary. The rest of the time I was a dog's body that produced lists.
Stiffkey and Cockthorpe used to be one parish. Our most famous son from Cockthorpe was Cloudesley Shovel, who became Sir Cloudesley Shovel, and was born in the late 1600s and christened in Cockthorpe Church. And he went to sea, and unfortunately navigation went slightly wrong, and he was drowned with his 2 stepsons and off the Isles of Scilly.
Overall, I think it's probably the first time that Stiffkey is being looked at as a whole in a historical sense. It will be not an intense book, but a book that I hope people will enjoy and will get a flavour of Stiffkey.
Well, I hope it'll help keep the Stiffkey community a little bit more interested in itself.
Hopefully it will make everybody much more interested in Stiffkey and our little hamlet of Cockthorpe.
Norfolk villages in this area are inevitably places where other people want to come and visit, and therefore they need to be places of welcome.
I think the book on the whole will elevate the history of Stiffkey, which is possibly one of the most evocative villages in the North Norfolk.